we are joined by retired Rear Admiral Mark Montgomery. He is a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defending Democracies. Welcome to the show. There are some national security experts out there, Admiral, that feel that Beijing is in the position of power in this meeting, that they have the leverage. And Republicans out there don't like this as well. They say it shows a sign of weakness. How do you make this?
Well, first, thank you for having me, Aisha. And I think your question really hits the mark there. You have to be worried about a policy that advocates for engagement like this headed over to China without first holding them accountable for a series of inappropriate behaviors. Your reporter mentioned the spy balloon case, where I have to disagree with the president. The idea that they did not know they were sitting over Minot and Whiteman air bases is ridiculous. He may be projecting his own did not knowing what was going on onto President Xi. President Xi knew exactly what was happening. He knew exactly what they were doing with the RC-135, breaking the fighter jet breaking in front of our RC-135. And he knew exactly what they were doing when their destroyer cut in front of the USS Chung Hoon. So you should not engage somebody who repeatedly operates inappropriately without first holding them accountable.
Well, why do you think that China is being allowed to apparently get away with it all? If we can pop up that video back up again, just remind our viewers what they did with the fighter jets. Obviously, we all remember the Chinese spy balloon, and now there's, confirmation from this White House that they have this spying activities out of Cuba, right here in our backyard. Why does this administration continuously allow China to get away with it?
Well, first, I think you're exactly right. This is not how you negotiate with someone, or it's not how you speak with your child. You don't, ignore their bad behavior and just look to reward them as soon as you can. And that's what we're doing here. We're going over, re-engaging after this behavior. And you mentioned the spy base. That's an important one. And I know the administration at first denied the existence of the base and then blamed it on tried to blame it on the Trump administration. The bottom line is this isn't about the Biden or Trump administrations. It's about China coming into our backyard and establishing, more aggressive and more capable spying facilities on our East Coast. Engagement without accountability is rewarding Chinese bad behavior, and I think we're going to come to regret it if we don't hold them accountable.
I think it's very apparent, especially from our national security folks, that China is trying to sideline the U.S., especially when it comes to other foreign affairs. We see that in the Mideast. We see that playing out with Ukraine, getting very cozy with Russia. How do we thread the needle here? We don't want a war with this country, but how do we show them strength and at the same time make sure that we're not leaning into something that we don't want to be a part of?
That's an excellent question. I just spent the last week in Taiwan meeting with their senior officials, and eventually a group of us met with President Tsai. What we need to be doing is preparing ourselves and preparing our allies and partners, showing a strong deterrent front. In other words, demonstrating to the Chinese that if you act inappropriately, we are both capable and have a credible belief that we will do something to prevent your action. So building up a deterrent capacity should actually be the first step in this, to demonstrate to the Chinese that we're serious, that our allies and partners like Japan, Australia, and Taiwan are serious. If you do that first, then your engagement goes much smoother.
Yeah. We'll see how the Secretary of State handles the Taiwan situation. That is the elephant in the room during these meetings. Admiral Montgomery, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.